Hello, I know usually I put the gecko here, but this video is just, it's not even worth putting the gecko in. It's just gonna be straight right for this one. Buckle yourselves in.
My Hero Academia is an interesting show for me, because I think this might be the only shonen that I don't have any strong connection with any of the characters.
And right off the bat, you can probably see why I'm making this video. That's a you thing, not a world, not a us thing. There's a lot of characters who people can relate to. Heck, I myself can relate to 3 characters. Deku, Bakugo, and specifically All Might. Which is weird because they're all heroes. Usually I like to be able to relate to some of the villains, but in this case, no, it's those 3 specifically.
Sure, I like a lot of them, but I can't really relate to them. I'm not gonna go into my life story, but I should, in theory, be able to relate a lot to Deku, a boy with nothing who has a dream he seemingly can't achieve. He is given the tools needed, but must train diligently in order to be able to utilize his power. He's like a green Rock Lee, so why can't I see myself in Deku's shoes?
Probably because he's 15. All jokes aside, it probably has something to do with the fact that you see little flaws in Deku that you just for some reason don't like, so you refuse to project yourself on them. That's more of a, you're very self-centered kind of thing. You're very self-absorbed and you can't possibly see negative traits in yourself. I hope you prove me wrong in this video and give something better than that, but I'm gonna doubt it. I've seen a few of your other videos and quite frankly, you're a joke.
When I can loosen myself up to fit in so many others.
I bet you can.
That's what we'll talk about in this video until YouTube decides to copyright strike me and ignore my counter.
Yeah, that's usually a problem. Luckily for me, I only have like 18, 17 subscribers, so I don't have to deal with that.
The problem with Deku as an MC shonen protagonist as a whole. We'll start off by saying Deku is not necessarily a bad character, and is indeed a splendid hero, just quite poorly done in a lot of ways that, honestly, does not make him worthy of One for All.
So we have, he's not a bad character, he's a splendid hero, and he's not worthy of One for All. Out of those 3 things, one of them does not belong. Can you guess which one it is?
Let's begin before he was given his powers. He was told he was quirkless, but he wanted to be a hero nonetheless. So what did he do to try and achieve his dream of being a hero? Almost jack shit.
Bollocks. He did a lot. He studied how heroes did things. He studied how they worked, and they studied how quirks worked. He studied the best way to deal with problems when you can't outpower them. A lot of what he did was in the mind, which makes sense, because if there's a hero academy, they're going to train you how to fight, how to do combat situations, and how to deal with stuff without combat. Because not all things about being a hero have to do with battling. So it would make sense that if you have no quirk to prove that you yourself are able to handle yourself intellectually over it all in order to get around your lack of power, per se. So he didn't do jack shit. He was training the one thing he could, his mind.
And honestly, this is my least favorite part about Deku. He knew what his dream was. He wanted to get into not just any hero school, but the most prestigious hero school around. What did he do to achieve his dream? He took a lot of notes of other heroes. That's nice.
Do you remember how useful those notes came in handy throughout the beginning of the show? Yeah, people without power, people with quirks were powerless against the notes that he had. He was able to use those things quite usefully. Even when it came to the situation with Bakugo, when no other hero could get in because their fucking quirks were messing with them and they just weren't able to do it, Deku, with just his notes, went in and risked his life. Not only is that the qualities of a good hero, that's a quality of someone who more than worthy of the most powerful quirk in the show. It shows self-sacrifice, bravery, and determination on the face of a pointless situation, which is something to keep note of because later on you're going to point out that Deku was scared for his life and gave up. Yes, that's something you expect from a 15-year-old kid. And to get to the point here, again, yes, him taking notes was very important. It helped out really a lot. Your wrongness is so bad, it's starting to get to me already.
What else? Exactly. He didn't work on his body so he'd have any type of physical strength. He didn't look at any alternatives, such as maybe being a police officer or some inventor to be of use to other heroes.
Yes, because that's what everyone who has a dream does. They aim lower than what their dream is. Goodness fucking Christ.
Or any other type of assistant. He just wanted to be able to punch everyone like All Might.
No, he wants to be able to save people like All Might.
But didn't so much as do a push-up to help himself. Dream all you want, but his dedication is actually shit. Is his bravery really that much better than many of the other heroes? Yeah, when he ran in to save Bakugo, that was what made All Might change his mind. But what happened before all that? Well, first off, with his initial encounter with the slime monster, he basically accepted death. That's not exactly a hero's mindset now, is it?
Really, we're gonna fault the person who isn't a hero at the moment for not having a hero's mindset. You're going to fault the 15-year-old boy who has not become a hero yet, or even gone to the school to become a hero, for not having a hero's mindset. The powerless person with no power who'd been struggling at that point to get free, who had been fighting, you're gonna blame them for not having a hero's mindset in that moment.
Eat this!
Few things to point out. One, she had already been going through hero training at that point in time. Deku had not. Two, she has a quirk. Deku does not. Three, yes, he went in after he realized it was Bakugo, but it wasn't so much just because it was his friend. I mean, a little bit just because it was his friend, he felt the need to go protect them, but it definitely gave him the boost that he needed to get going. Again, this is Deku before he started becoming a hero. Before he got the hero mindset and everything. Again, I would appreciate if you stopped sitting there blaming the person who has no training whatsoever for not having the mindset of a hero.
Following this, let's talk about his constant crying. Now, since this is something that is always poked fun at, I'm just going to leave it alone. No, I'm not. This is a line between being passionate and being a bitch.
And this is what you get for that one.
And Deku is clearly on one side. Maybe it's because of how little he's worked for it.
What? You're talking about All for One? You're talking about the quirk that he was given by All Might for being brave? For reminding All Might of what he used to be? You do realize that's part of the reason why he got it. It was because when All Might looked at Deku, he was reminded of himself. A passionate young man who just wants to protect the world and make everyone smile. And yes, he did work for it. He sacrificed himself to save Bakugo when no one else would. When no one else was able to and no one else was willing to, he threw himself into a position where he was going to die. And not only that, he cleaned an entire beach better than what All Might was expecting him to. Yes, that sounds really stupid, but did you see the stuff on that beach? Refrigerators, car parts, all that. It was mountains and mountains of just garbage. It was pretty much a landfill at that point in time. And he had done so better than All Might was expecting him to. With no quirk, no help, nothing. He was not just given the quirk, he earned it. Through hard work, sweat, determination.
Him crying over getting a provisional hero license, or having someone team up with him, is a bit cringy. I can understand his breakdown when All Might told him he can be a hero, but almost every other time, no. Deku does not have his own personality. He is like some mishmash of many other people, not really having any character himself. All he tries to do is imitate All Might. He's so fixated on this that it took him nearly 50 episodes and half a school year to realize he has legs. And even when he realized he has legs, he just goes back to trying to imitate other people. His physical characteristics have obviously grown, but Deku as a character has grown substantially little. Stop and think. In terms of character development, how much has Deku changed since episode 1?
So glad you understand the meme there as far as Deku and the legs thing. It's a good one. I like that one. But seriously, he hasn't grown at all. He went from being a character who was willing to accept his death to somebody who was willing to throw themselves into dangerous situations in order to save people, i.e. muscular, his willingness to give up the big fight in order to go save Bakugo, even though he wasn't able to fight, his willingness to throw away his chances to become a hero in order to save Uraraka. I'm having speech problems, sorry about that. But you get he has grown as a character. Just because you refuse to see that doesn't mean anything. And as far as him copying characters, you get another one of these because he doesn't. Yes, he takes a little bit of style from his friend as far as the acrobatics parts goes, but that's about as far as he goes as far as that's concerned.
We can look at many of the other characters and see more development. Ochako has had multiple moments, expressed with her whole fight with Bakugo, as well as her internal struggle with following her heart with Deku, or focusing on being a hero, which I'm loving that internal struggle, by the way.
Unfortunately, that's not the struggle that she's going through. It's more of the teenage girl not understanding if she actually is in love with this person or not and able to accept those feelings. It's nothing to do with struggle between love for Deku and if she should be a hero, because she can have both. There's no reason she couldn't.
Kirishima had more development in a single episode outlining his backstory and motivations than Deku. I did an entire video on Bakugo basically outlining why he's a better character. Momo's internal struggle with her self-confidence issues about how her book smarts don't translate to combat ability, both Shoto and the Devil's growths, both individually and as a family. Hell, and I'm sincere when I say this, even Mineta has had about as much character development as Deku. Looking over all the major events that Deku has had, training with All Might, the exams, villain invasion, sports festival, Nomu attack, all the way up to Chisaki and the school festival, he has not changed the way he thinks. He has not learned much of anything new. And if this was a standard shonen battle anime, I wouldn't even mind that. But this is a story-focused shonen, where the fights are just there to move the plot along and are not really spectacles in and of themselves. Deku and Todoroki just kept launching the same attacks at each other. All Might and All for One were just having a punching contest. There has yet to be any special choreographed fight, aside from maybe the second fight with Deku and Bakugo. And honestly, I'm okay with that. My Hero Academia has one of the best shonen stories around, but people constantly overlook it because they're too busy choosing which underage characters they're going to fuck, also known as shipping. With all that being said, I'm not mad, just disappointed.
I'm gonna let that last comment go just because I'm not the best at speaking either. So as long as I don't give you shit for fucking up with your words, then you really shouldn't give me shit for mine, except the Kakashi thing. You better believe I'm gonna be all over that. Not just because it's not just a slip of the tongue, it was you mispronouncing his name on 5 occasions so far that I've counted. And are you going to explain why he hasn't grown in the way that he thinks he's grown? Or are you just going to claim that he hasn't?
Deku clearly has good qualities to be a hero. He keeps on fighting and breaks the rules in the best of ways. So I don't hate him as a character. I just don't like Mary Sue's who, personality-wise, are about the same from start to finish.
Deku, a Mary Sue? In what way? Again, throughout this whole video, I've proven that he has changed as a character, that he has grown, that he's matured, that he has shown that he understands that being a hero isn't exactly what he thought he has, and he's accepted that and changed according to it. He has changed his fighting style from wanting to be exactly like All Might to adapting it to his own. Yes, he has acquired a little bit of his friend's fighting style into that, but that could be symbolic as you don't do stuff alone. The best heroes do stuff with their friends. That's a common trope in anime. I would expect that you would know that. Yet again, at this point, I'm convinced that you're not even a real anime fan. You're just somebody who's just putting stuff on for the clicks.
We haven't finished yet, but we're 80-some episodes in. Time for you to learn something. I expect this video will have a lot of thumbs down, a lot of people telling me to kill myself as they insult my mother, but feel free to explain in the comments below why you disagree. I'm not gonna hunt you down and make you think my way, and I'm not exactly passionate about this stance as I am with others.
I don't generally do comments. I do videos. And so that's what you'll get from me. It's not the only one you'll get. I'm going to do one on your Naruto one too. And no, I'm not going to tell you to go kill yourself. It's just a show at the end of the day. Nothing to get that extreme over. If I ever get that way, please just... Well, that'll be it for this. And cannot, I just need to not be here.